Good morning, Malcolm Nance.
Good morning, Steffi. I see you gave me SARS by remote.
Sorry about that. I
Which
apologize.
I
It's a
was in San Diego last week, and
right.
I was going to come up there to do the show, but I went down hard. Killed it.
Sorry. It's me. It's probably Russia. I'm probably patient zero. I'm taking out everybody in the resistance.
It's little bit of cold.
Malcolm Nance. This is. It looks like Cohen is likely to flip.
He's going to have to flip. I mean, his lawyers just kicked out from under him.
Yep.
Where does he have to go? I
Meet
mean, he
me.
can't represent himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he is absolutely, positively going to do it now. And he said that to his friends. You mentioned that earlier in the show that he feels that he's going to be arrested at any time now,
Yeah.
and he can prevent that by coming in and now pleading a deal.
It's so interesting how Russia has its tentacles in every portion of our country still. Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, said he's got credible reports Russian officials are planting stories in order to discredit him. He said they're doing it because they see me as a threat, a considerable threat. It is amazing, right? How and this, I don't even know how to get my mind around what's happened in the last 3 days. But as you keep saying it, stop U.S. exercises in the Korean Peninsula. It was Putin's idea. We have,
Yep.
yeah,
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. It turns out that this was in a Wall Street Journal story a few months ago, where Putin had a phone call with Trump and had recommended that the United States could get a deal with North Korea if they would stop their provocative strategic exercises with South Korea. We don't hold these exercises just so that we can, piss North Korea off. These exercises are critical so we know what are the nuts and bolts that we would have to move. How would we behave? How can we integrate our forces in case real combat comes to the peninsula? And then did you hear the craziness Trump put out there
yeah.
where he was saying, "Hey, we have to fly bombers to go up there and drop bombs on an empty mountain 6.5 hours." He is literally clueless as what the United States Armed Forces does. These things are, look, let me tell you, when you fly a mission in a B 1 bomber, there are thousands of people that are in operation getting you moving. And it's not done for fun, it's designed to kill things. And
Yeah.
we have to be prepared at all times. He sees this from, he's just adopted the enemy's terminology. He views this as, Putin told him it was provocative and Kim Jong un told him it's provocative.
Thank you.
Now it's provocative.
As you tweeted, Malcolm, you said, where is this? You said, first of all, Trump nearly always adopts the dictator's phraseology. He's canceling U.S. South Korea exercises. He now calls war games justification, says defending our allies is too expensive. But he also called provocative. That's their term, not ours, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely. Look, I can tell you, throughout my career, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times that I've read communiques coming out of North Korea, these classified reports in their broadcasts, they always use the word provocative American actions, provocative American military, war games carried out by the provocative, capitalists. And here is Trump. He's in the room 45 minutes with the guy. He picks up their terminology and actually uses it against us, blindsiding the South Koreans, blindsiding the Pentagon. And you know who else? General Mattis. He's going to have to execute these crazy policies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you also tweeted Jeremy Bash is right. Putting the U.S. flag next to North Korea is a disgrace. Republicans will now rush to praise and embrace a fat, overbearing, childish dictator as a hero, and they'll compliment Kim Jong Un too. That's a joke. But
Yeah.
no, we were just saying this is so astounding how Kim has already won, given legitimacy on the world stage. He has propaganda for years. And apparently Trump agreed to drop sanctions, is what North Korea is reporting this morning, right? I mean, it's yeah,
All you got to do is watch what North Korea says. Look, this is what happens when you go into a room with no one taking notes, no one really minding the store. You get two different sides of the story. North Korea was first out of the box. You could have predicted this. They would come out. The first thing they did yesterday was they came and said, the Americans have decided to stop their provocative military exercises. My favorite part, Trump understands. You know? And it's like, oh,
Said with
geez,
finger to
this
the
guy-
mouth. Trump understands.
Trump understands.
Wow.
You don't understand, but Trump understands. You know, Pyongyang Trump International Hotel. But you know, then today they come out here with this whole thing about the sanctions. They are going to put out a whole series of things that will not, in fact, be lies. We already know Trump just doesn't have the capacity to keep his mouth shut and not promise things that he can't deliver on just to get that photo op. And now he wants this Nobel Prize. And if you go around Twitter and watch Breitbart in their comments,
Right.
good God, they think that he is the second coming of Jesus. You know, when Barack Obama shook Raul Castro's hand, they wanted a firing squad.
Yeah.
So all of these people are saying that. And you just have to understand that North Korea has been mastering this game for 64 years. They were the people, they invented Twitter practically, because for every year, you know, they would put out these communiques for almost 6 decades, which were crazy Alex Jones type commentaries. And now they're common. You know, to tell you the truth, they make the Onion look pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, you can't even believe this propaganda film that Trump made for him. I mean, and as you tweet, Trump is delusional. His Kim Jong-un speed date does not make the North Korean nuclear threat go away. 20 to 60 nukes still exist. The missiles are operational. Chemical, biological, and artillery weapons pointed at South Korea. Membership in the dictator's boys club does not make America safe. And you remember him, you know, criticizing Obama for apologizing or bowing. I mean, as I said earlier, he's practically filleting this dictator on the world stage. I mean, what American have we ever seen bow and scrape like this, calling him smart and talented and funny, and he's this,
None.
and it's an honor to meet him.
Oh my God, it's just an utter disgrace, an utter disgrace. Look, you're just prepping me for my my next TV segment I have here in about 30 minutes. It is an utter disgrace, and what I'm most upset about is that there are no people using those words. These people, they put the American flag side by side with that of the dictatorship of North Korea and think that that's honorable, and have Trump say he's a talented guy. I mean, just this morning, Trump comes out and he puts that tweet out about the nuclear threat is gone.
It's gone.
Right? This is what, you know, this is what psychiatrists or psychologists say happens to a baby that's less than a year old.
Yeah.
When you put something in front of their eyes, it disappears from their entire worldview. Right?
Yeah.
And then when you put, which is why Peekaboo is so successful.
Yes.
And when you put it back, they're like, oh my God.
Oh my God, it's
that's a
back.
Rubber binky. And with Trump, it's the same way. He constantly says, Obamacare, gone, doesn't exist anymore, no longer extant. And it's like, hey man, there's millions of people on that. And then with the same thing this morning, he comes out, North Korea's nuclear threat is gone.
Sleep well.
No, it's not gone. You cannot imagine this away. My problem is I think he really believes this is happening in his head, despite the fact that you could probably come out there and show him the atomic bombs.
Yeah.
But he says they got rid of all of their tests. Yeah, they stopped their tests because their missile systems work.
Yeah.
And they don't have to test anymore.
Thank
they
you.
blew up their nuclear testing facility. Yeah, Pakistan stopped after 6 bombs. India stopped after 5 bombs. North Korea stopped after 6 bombs.
Yep.
They have viable nuclear weapons. For Donald Trump, it's the magic of his hair and his, you know, fist pump. I don't know.
Yeah. As Ivanka tried to tweet a Chinese proverb, those who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those doing it. You said, unfortunately,
Fortune cookie.
Ivanka misread this Chinese proverb. It's not bribery and corruption permission slip for U.S. government employees who own shoe licenses. The FBI will eventually interrupt you. They're rude like that.
By the way, did you see the story about that proverb?
Yes.
It's not a
George
Chinese
Bernard
proverb.
Shaw.
No, of course not, because she's an idiot. Malcolm, what? Okay, so we had a lot going on, obviously, on the Trump-Russia front. Mueller wants data shared with the Russian firm locked down. Obviously, he's afraid that they're going to share it. You know, the people,
Right.
same people that are still interfering in our election systems, right?
Right. Yeah. And and he's got good reason to worry. I mean, but I think things are going to start breaking very fast the minute that Manafort gets his shackles here in a couple of days, and he
It'll be
starts
tomorrow.
understanding what truth and food tastes like, and when it's served by Bubba, and then you'll start seeing Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is going to have to sacrifice his family or himself, and there's no in between.
Yep. And now we have this sort of these twin stories, right? Rosenstein talking about wanting the House Devin Nunes's committee investigated, obviously, and Nunes is still demanding more documents. It just feels like this is all coming to a head, doesn't it? I mean, it's.
I've said this a dozen times, probably on this show. Devin Nunes is eventually going to end up being a target in this investigation. There's just no way.
Yep.
He is using his position to literally block and foil a national security investigation, an investigation that is trying to hunt out spies in our country. And he's doing it in such a blatant, partisan, personal manner that there's criminality involved. And Rosenstein is sending his shot across the bow by asking the the IG, in the House to start checking him out. The thing is, Rosenstein has evidence.
Yeah.
And he's now, is this just a tactic to get Nunes to back off, or is this where he takes Nunes out?
Yeah. I mean, Malcolm,
I'm sure there'll be an indictment by the end of the year.
Yeah. I keep saying it, Malcolm. This whole letting Russia back in the G7, and I just am like, how much more outward does this treason have to get at this point? Insulting our allies, but sucking up to dictators like Kim Jong-un and Putin. I mean, this is insane.
It is insane. And, in about 14 days, my new book, The Plot to Destroy Democracy, which explains all of this, will come out. We are in serious trouble. I am going to be on jihad here, where I'm going to we have to start calling for a national salvation front. Democracy is under attack.
Yep.
They hate our allies. They hate our allies because our allies still espouse the values that put this nation together. Donald Trump wants to be a member of the Dictators Boys Club, and he is ready to create not a G6. Bob Cheska was mentioning this earlier. We were all joking about it about a week ago. An A3, right? Anarchy. Not anarchy. Autocrats 3, right?
Yeah.
China, Russia, the United States, and then they'll start bringing in others.
Yeah.
This is what they want. This is not a joke. It's an actual organized system. Half of Europe's political parties, conservative parties, are Russian funded, and they espouse anti-globalization, anti-NATO, anti-Americanism, anti-democracy. And we are now going to be in the fight for our lives before November. November is it.
And I think we have to stop saying, why aren't Republicans doing anything? I think this story is going way deeper between Cambridge Analytica and, WikiLeaks and the help that they got all the way down ticket. I mean,
NRA and the Russian money.
NRA's involvement. I mean, Malcolm, I think...
I have a whole half chapter on the NRA.
Not to mention the Supreme Court's decision to disenfranchise voters in more states now.
Yeah, but I mean, Bob, I don't know if you saw Bill Maher this past weekend was talking about, conservatives speak with more passion and urgency about this than some liberals do. And I mentioned you yesterday. I said you and Steve Schmidt and Nicole Wallace. And I do, because as Rob Reiner always says, our friend, America has been attacked.
That's
you're right. How can we not be speaking about this? Our democracy is hanging in the balance. This has long past being partisan, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the nation is at the greatest point of peril since its founding. And this November will determine whether America as we knew it exists or we go full-bore autocracy. And everyone has to stand up and do their part. I'm just going to be going all around the country telling you that, Rob Reiner called me the new Paul Revere. He wrote the foreword to my book.
Yeah.
But, this is your chance. History has its eyes on us, and all of us have to do whatever we can to make sure that we save this nation.
Yep. Yes. Aye, sir. All right. Love you, Malcolm Nance. Sorry I got you sick.
All right. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you next week.